Chapter 2145, Zhang Yi and Da Vinci's Deal. To be honest, I want some research materials from the sealed land. They say that only you have them. Da Vinci stated his purpose bluntly. Indeed, at that time, all the mutant teams were on the brink of life and death, and it was already very difficult to deal with the Lord of the Netherworld and the Netherwalkers. Where would they have the opportunity to preserve biological samples? Only Zhang Yi, a space ability user, had the spare time to collect supplies while fighting. In his alternate space, he not only had biological samples of Netherwalkers, but also biological samples of the creatures Mammon had created. A smile appeared on Zhang Yi's lips. Of course, I do have something that others don't have. But what are you going to give me in exchange? Professor Da Vinci said, I have a lot of scientific and technological knowledge that you don't have. I'll tell you a secret that even the upper echelons of Columbia don't know. How about I trade it with you? Zhang Yi shook his head. No matter how powerful Professor Da Vinci's scientific and technological knowledge was, could it be stronger than the Tsan tribe? Could it be stronger than Ling? I don't need those things. I only ask that you agree to one thing. If one day, the Huashu Kingdom really goes to war with the Wulwan Empire, when that time comes, you must join the war and follow my commands. Of course, I won't let you die. What do you think? Zhang Yi had many biological samples from the Lord of the Netherworld. Those were actually ancient creatures, and even the sixth generation of humans had willingly fallen and submitted to the Drucker Titans, causing them to mutate. Zhang Yi had already had Zhou Qi study them, and they were indeed different from ordinary intelligent creatures, but the information obtained was no secret to Zhang Yi. Professor Da Vinci just didn't know that yet. If he could use those creatures in exchange for the help of two powerful mutants who would obey his orders, it would have a significant positive impact on the upcoming battle. Professor Da Vinci didn't hesitate at all and nodded in agreement. You are indeed a cautious person. Even though we said we came to help, you're still worried that we might do something behind your back, right? Very good. Although your style of doing things is troublesome, you are very smart. I agree. Smart people speak bluntly, and Zhang Yi didn't beat around the bush. He directly handed him a biological sample. It was a small gray creature that looked just like the legendary aliens, completely black, only a meter tall, with a large head and short limbs. After Zhang Yi brought it back, Zhou Qi had already sliced it up for research. It was indeed human, but it was a human who had fallen into depravity long ago and chosen to become a Netherwalker. As soon as Professor Da Vinci got his hands on it, his eyes lit up with excitement, as if he had seen a beautiful woman. All right, I have to go study this thing. Zhang Yi smiled and stood up. You guys can stay here. If you need anything, feel free to contact me. Zhang Yi kept his promise and found Fatty Sue immediately after leaving. Because Brian's gaze was becoming more and more eager, he felt he needed to give that horny dog an explanation. Brian watched Zhang Yi leave with longing eyes, looking like a woman in a deep chamber, then curled up at the door and waited for someone to bring him the female dog he had been dreaming of. Soon after, a black snowmobile stopped at the door of the villa. Fatty Sue jumped out of the car. Brian jumped up from the ground, opened the door with lightning speed, rushed to Fatty Sue, and wagged his short, thick tail like an electric fan. Hi, bro. Are you here to give me that thing? He poked his finger shyly. Fatty Sue smiled and gave it a knowing look, then clapped his hands. The car door opened, and two small female dogs, very beautiful by dog standards, slowly got out of the car. They were thoughtfully dressed in beautiful warm clothes, and their clear eyes and delicate features were so pretty that even many single dogs would find them attractive. As soon as the two little female dogs jumped down, they took the initiative to approach Brian, sniffing here and there and rubbing against him. Woof, woof, woof. Woof, woof, woof. Brian excitedly got down on all fours, then ran behind them and inhaled deeply. This smell, pure. He was so happy that he almost fainted. Fatty Sue chuckled. I knew you would be satisfied. These two little female dogs were, of course, mechanical life forms. The San tribe's technology was so advanced that they could completely simulate living creatures. Fatty Sue provided guidance, Lou Karen was responsible for technical control, and Joe Kerr added some biological features, and then this perfect product was born. Fatty Sue was very honest and told Brian the truth directly. Actually, these two are just robotic dogs, they're not real. And I'm sorry to tell you, Brian, they can't reproduce. Fatty Sue spread his hands helplessly. Who knew that Brian would respond with a strange smile? Isn't that even better? Brian enjoyed his happy moments. After all, it was difficult for a highly intelligent dog to meet another of its kind. On Zhang Yi's side, he received a communication from Vermilion Bird and Black Tortoise. At first, he suspected that something had happened in the East Sea region, which was now responsible for the defense of the entire Southeast Sea area. Hello, this is Chaos. What's going on? Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird appeared on the screen. The two glanced at each other and said, "We've discovered a very special place in the Southern Sea area. Our Navy found or containing the source of God there." Zhang Yi narrowed his eyes. Or containing the source of God. He quickly walked to the living room and opened the 3D map. "Mark the location for me." The two quickly sent the location coordinates, and immediately a red dot appeared in the southeastern direction of the Southern Sea area of the Huashu Kingdom. Zhang Yi waved his hand, and the area immediately zoomed in. The images collected by the Navy at the time also appeared before Zhang Yi's eyes. It was a small uninhabited island with some mutated plants growing on it. In the center of the island was a black deep hole that looked like it had been washed away by the sea and exposed by the collapse of the soil. "You should have sent people to investigate, right? What are the results?" Zhang Yi asked. "More than a dozen soldiers were killed, including a captain. There are traps inside, which are very dangerous for mutants below Epsilon, but the ore of the source of God does indeed exist." Zhang Yi laughed coldly. "What a coincidence. It's in the Southeast Sea area of Huashu Kingdom, and at a time like this. It sounds like a trap set up especially for us." The cautious Zhang Yi saw at a glance that something was wrong. Chapter 2146, The Lonely Island in the South Sea. Zhang Yi criticized bluntly, "Can't you see through such a clumsy trick? It must be a trap set by the Wulwan Empire." He didn't believe in such coincidences in this world. Even if a piece of cake fell from the sky and landed on his head, he would suspect that someone had deliberately set it up. It's been 4 years since the end of the world, where would such a source of God or suddenly appear? Vermilion Bird said helplessly, "We also think there's something wrong. That's why we took the trouble to report it to you. After all, what if it's real? Moreover, our people have already investigated twice and indeed discovered the source of God ore. If it's real, then if we miss it and other countries discover it, wouldn't that be a huge loss? Even though they knew it might be a trap and that there might be huge risks, no one could resist such tempting benefits." Brad of the Wulwan Empire was right. Humans are a race full of desire, always willing to take risks for profit, even at the cost of their lives. Don't be fooled by Zhang Yi's righteous words. In reality, it would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted at all. He rubbed his chin and paced back and forth in the living room. "There are traps in the cave, and anyone below Epsilon will be in mortal danger if they enter. So this place is most likely a trap set by the Wulwan Empire to take revenge on the high-level mutants of the Huashu Kingdom. In short, we must not enter and investigate lightly. There aren't many Epsilons in the East Sea region who can take them on." Zhang Yi analyzed in a low voice. Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird nodded. "We think so too." Zhang Yi suddenly smiled maliciously, "Isn't Li Changdong with you? Why not let him go and try?" Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird looked a little strange. Only Zhang Yi would be so blunt with such a treacherous idea. "Just kidding. I don't want that guy to die yet. Li Changdong's abilities were very useful, and he would be an important force in the upcoming battle, so he couldn't be wasted. I don't recommend you go in. But you can send more people in to investigate." Zhang Yi quickly came up with an idea. "It's meaningless to sacrifice lives. If the enemy's target is us, then no matter how many people go in, they'll all die, and there won't be any substantial progress. Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird said, "We think so too." The two looked at Zhang Yi eagerly, waiting for him to make a decision. Zhang Yi sat back down on the sofa and said, "If human soldiers can't go, then let the mechanical soldiers go." The mechanical life forms of the Tsangyuan tribe were hundreds of years ahead of humans in terms of technology. Now, only Lu Karen, with her superior abilities, has repaired many of these robots and made them usable. "I'll take care of this. You don't need to worry about it for now. If there really is a source of God mine, I won't treat you poorly." Hearing Zhang Yi arrange everything in just a few words, Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird felt helpless. Li Guangxiao had also said that if they discovered any benefits, Zhang Yi would definitely take the lion's share. "Chaos, ahem, we've been old friends for many years. Let me ask you something. If there really is a source of God mine, how much will you give us?" "Ha, I don't mean anything by it. It's just that, as you know, our East Sea region suffered the greatest losses in the tsunami. And you also know why the Wulwan Empire attacked us. So, can you take care of us a little?" Black Tortoise's tone was full of humility. After thinking about it for a while, Zhang Yi said, "It's too early to talk about that now. I think there's a high probability that it's a trap. Let's send my mechanical lifeform soldiers to investigate first. Don't get too excited. Keep your minds on the task at hand." The two could only nod helplessly. Zhang Yi was taking all the risk, so they really couldn't ask for more. In fact, they didn't know what Zhang Yi was thinking. In Zhang Yi's heart, he was already 80% sure that it was a huge trap. Everything seemed too coincidental. How could it be such a coincidence that the ore containing the source of God would be washed up by the sea and discovered by the Navy soldiers? How could it be such a coincidence that the ore was found in the waters of the southern Huashu kingdom? There were no such coincidences in this world, only inevitability and deliberate actions. However, if they really want to set a trap, they will need bait. Even mousetraps need cheese and bread. The person they want to catch the most right now is me, so the cheese must be very big. A sly smile appeared on Zhang Yi's lips. Let's see who's smarter. Zhang Yi's trip to Mist Valley to provoke them was intentional. He deliberately revealed his 38,000 points so that the other side would think they already knew his information. Then, the other side would set traps according to his standards or make other countermeasures, and at most, they would only set traps according to the standards of a 45,000-point mutant. However, no one in the Wulwan Empire knew that Zhang Yi still had Ling in his hands. Moreover, the energy problem had been solved recently, and Ling was recharging. The next time she made a move, she would definitely give the Wulwan Empire a huge surprise. Zhang Yi didn't discuss this matter with Yang Xinqing because he didn't need to take any risks. He just sent a small team consisting entirely of mechanical life forms to investigate. Mechanical life forms were extremely powerful in battle and did not fear death. A team of 20 mechanical life forms could even cause some trouble for Epsilon-level mutants. After all, they were equipped with high-powered bombs that could be used to attack by self-detonation. Zhang Yi took them with him, ordered them to investigate the cave and search for special materials, and then went straight to the uninhabited island 100 nautical miles away. He did not continue to approach, but instead released the mechanical life forms into the sea and let them swim over on their own. Watching the mechanical life forms chugging away in the distance, bravely fighting against the waves, Zhang Yi really felt a little like a black-hearted capitalist. He glanced in that direction, then turned his head toward the distant Mist Valley and cautiously turned back. Underneath the uninhabited island, the cave had already been dug more than 2,000 meters deep, and some huge monsters were busily working in the darkness, their sharp claws like excavators, easily breaking through the thick rock layers. Dozens of powerful warriors from the Wulwan Empire were here. They had been sent by Brad to prepare this trap.